Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all our attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very warm welcome to the Author Saga series. A quick recap for those of you who are new to Pick a Book. Pick a Book is all about reading and more reading and inculcating the habit of reading, research, and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the wonders of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Pick a Book marked its inspiring presence in four countries: Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 1,000 plus readers, 18 plus regions, and 70,000 plus people inspired in our sessions so far, all in just a span of 1 year. So, Pick a Book continues to spread its wings across the globe. And we have come up with a new initiative, a brand of its own called Author Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers and individuals with like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and the readers can have this excellent opportunity to know more about the book from the author herself. So today we have with us Ms. Ritwika Marar with her wonderful book, A Life, a Beautiful Journey.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you, Swarna. Thank you for having me here.
Great. It's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to know a little more about Ritwika. So, Ritwika Marar is a partner in Blissful Consultancy, and it's an organization into training and development working towards women empowerment, youth empowerment, and parenting. She is also an ex banker with over a decade experience in corporate. She pursued her calling into training space in the past 3 years have successfully worked with over 250 plus students and over 150 plus professionals. A power parenting coach, NLP master practitioner, and a career counselor. She believes in power of learning and is an avid reader. After getting published as co-author in two anthologies, her first solo life, A Beautiful Journey, got released last month. She takes pride in pursuing her dreams and fulfilling them while she does full-time mom's job to an 8-year-old daughter. Ritwika is also a pro bono volunteer with Unimo, Universe of Moms, the largest online mommy community. That's a wonderful bio to start with, Ritwika. Very warm welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you so much, Swarna. In fact, I'm really thrilled to be part of this author's saga because, reading books is something I believe every child should be introduced to.
Yeah,
And here you people are doing exactly that. So it really is a great platform to be.
great. Thank you, and thank you so much for that. Okay, first of all, let us all congratulate you on this wonderful book, and we wish you a long way in writing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the bio itself that you are an avid reader, right?
Yeah.
How do you think books have helped you, or played a key role in making you what you are today?
Oh my God. Swarna, very honestly, I completely believe it is because of all the good books that I was introduced to since my early age that I am where I am today. In fact, like now, just when you mentioned, I recollect in my book, I have used one line. I have talked about one line when I'm giving the acknowledgement and all. Uh, I read that line when I was perhaps somewhere in my class third or fourth. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. And for us at our home, books were like the sixth family member for us. So we were five of us at home, three sisters, parents, and the books were the next constant companions. So I would see my mom reading books, right from Bengali books like Anand Bazar Patrika and all to Malayalam magazines. My
Oh,
dad would be reading a lot. My mom used to read Hindi, English, whatever languages she knows, she had books for that. And
mm,
for us kids, we were introduced to books like magazines like Reader Digest and Competition Success Review quite early in our life. And
great.
Wisdom was one another book which I really loved. And
Mm.
as a child, we were introduced to the books age appropriately. And
Okay.
I believe each and every book, right from
Mm.
famous five series to Mallory Tar series to Secret Seven series, which all I finished when I was studying in my school, thanks to the amazing book library that we had at Delhi Public School, Bhilai. um,
Mm.
we always had the dream, we believed in the power of believing.
Mm.
And books are such a wonderful way because they open up a world without actually being there. you know
Exactly.
so I think if we are having that book, which is making a difference, and it really helps us. Especially here, I would mention one book which really brought a huge difference in my life when I was in my college. I read A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And
Superb.
after that book, there is no turning back. I'm a complete believer of manifestation, and I am just into it. You can see how much I love books, and of course, who cannot mention Harry Potter series?
Yeah.
We used to go in those dream world and imagine ourselves to be sitting on that broom and moving around. So yeah.
That is so true. So, so, so true. Yes. Great. I mean, I just like the idea. It's good things start right from our homes, and as you said, your family has given you a right culture when it comes to reading. So that is what we believe in Pick a Book as well. So reading will open up everything for you, all the ways you want to look through around this world. So it's a great way to do that. So thank you so much on this beautiful note, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever are not still actively reading, please get into that habit so you
Yes,
can
please.
actually, yeah, you like you said, we can actually like this. We can only live one life, but when you read books, you can actually live many lives. So that's wonderfully said, Ritwika. Okay, so yeah, so how did your journey as a writer start?
Okay. I have mentioned, that I'm an avid reader, and of course, with the series I mentioned, you might guess and how much I love to read.
Hmm.
But honestly, it was long time I was having this dream of writing a book.
Okay.
And in fact, since I'm into training and my forte is into communication skills, so I was actually working upon with my sister, and we are writing actually one of the books based on our expertise. She
Hmm.
is a principal in one of the schools, CBSE schools, so we both were jointly writing it. But then there was something, like, no, I want to say that I want to write something which is simple, which is very, very
Hmm.
simple. It should not be very complicated that only a certain sector or certain segment could understand and connect with. I wanted to bring onto life something which even if a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old child picks up,
Hmm.
maybe today they are not understanding it all, but later on they will connect to each and every word that they read. And I am specially blessed, and I'm really grateful for this lockdown, that it happened. Because, no, honestly, because before the lockdown it was so much hectic, because most of our time just goes into traveling, and
Hmm.
half the dreams remain unfulfilled because of that. So
Yeah.
during the lockdown I was introduced to one of the gentlemen whom I mentioned in the book, Mr. Jayan Nair, who gave me this first opportunity to be a part of an anthology which is yet to be released. So that was like the first thing that I got, I submitted, but that is yet to be released. And then, like people say, you manifest, and if you really want something, then universe will conspire to make it true. And I got I suddenly, I don't know, I kept on getting these opportunities to be a part of anthology, but still that something was missing, that no, I
Hmm.
want to release my solo. And that's when this happened. So I think it's all about just
Hmm.
wishing, and with the right intent, I think it happens.
Great. That was very well said on that point. Uh, and I mean, why did you choose this particular genre? That's it's a different one altogether. The collection of poems is a different thing to pick up. So, what is the reason behind?
Uh, there are two reasons, very honestly. One, I have always been writing more of poems. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so till I think 2 years back, all my poems were restricted to my diaries. Okay,
Hmm.
And of course, when I was in school at that time, I used to get them published in the school magazines. And when I was in college also, then also the magazines I used to publish, but it was only, where I am. So if I'm at school, then school magazine, college
Mm.
magazine. But 2 years back, in our platform Unimo Universe of Moms, we had conducted this amazing, before the lockdown this is, Unimo's Got Talent, which gives an opportunity for all the moms to showcase their talent.
Okay.
So that was the first time when I actually, actually narrated my own poem in front of a huge audience whom I was not knowing,
Okay.
and I won that competition.
Uh,
And that gave me a confidence that yes, it's not just that I love doing this, I'm doing it
mm.
right. Because I got a lot of comments and suggestions from the judges there, that
Mm.
you go and participate in open mic. Until that time, open mic was a dream for me. I could never have even thought that I would do an open mic kind of a thing.
Okay.
And especially, I'm staying in Mumbai Kalyan area, so
Mm.
I used to think that open mics happen only in Bandra and western suburbs, that is. uh,
Mm.
but luckily, during the lockdown, again, like I said, I'm blessed. Here in
Mm.
Kalyan, we had one place which was conducting the open mic. I participated there again. I got a very great response, and it strengthened my belief that yes, writing poetry does not just help me feel good,
Mm.
does not just feel me release all the whatever thoughts I have and whatever stress I have. If I'm writing, I just forget everything around me. So
Yes.
poem has been like that close to me. And second, because the book that got published is part of a challenge, is part of
Oh,
an
okay.
Instagram challenge. So
Okay.
they had this 20 days challenge wherein you have to write 20 poems on 20 days. So
Okay.
I was more than thrilled to be a part of it.
Okay. Great. So the reasons worked very well for you then.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So what is this moms community? I'm interested to know with more of that.
Unimo Universe of Moms is the world's largest online mothers community. We
Okay.
are Facebook community recognized by Sheryl Sandberg herself. In
Oh.
fact, our founder Neha Kare, she is the Facebook community leader. CLC, that's Community Leadership Circle. She is the leader there, and she
Mm.
is one of the very few members recognized from all over the globe who were given
Yeah.
training by Facebook. So
Yes.
it's a huge it's a huge platform because it's a not for profit community. It's a
Mm.
community for mothers, by mothers, where mothers are just working
Mm.
together to uplift each other, giving them that
Great.
me time and an independent identity beyond all the baggages that we carry throughout our life. So we get that space wherein we are who we are and who we wanted to be.
Great. So one new thing learned today about Unimos.
Yes,
Unimons.
in fact, people around the globe can be a part of it, because we have 22 plus chapters across the world.
Mm. Okay.
So, and
Beautiful.
they do amazing work because right now we have adopted Hirkani village in Maharashtra, which
Mm.
has gone through really bad flooded and landslide happened. People actually lost like everything. So, we
Mm.
are supporting 183 villagers and the drive is going on. Today is the last day for that as well.
Superb. Great to know that. It's
Yeah.
wonderful and all the best for your project.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, so let me just move on to know a little bit about, depth of your poems, the
Sure.
collection of poems. So, how are poems in this book, depicting the theme of life? So, you have mentioned it, a beautiful life, right? So how are they depicting it?
I completely believe, that life is a gift that we all have received from the God, and we have to cherish that, no
Yeah.
matter what. So it's not something. Book is not something which will talk about fantasy. It is something
Mm.
that is talking about reality, the ground reality, the hardships, everything.
Mm.
But it makes us look through the lens that everything, whatever and wherever we are really blessed to be part of that life. So this book I had
Exactly.
divided into two segments. The one
Mm.
first is the first 10 poems talk about the different life stages that we go through, right from when we have been conceived and we are
Mm.
inside the mother's womb to when
Okay.
we are nearing the end.
Okay.
And the next 10 poems talks about the different elements of life that for me I believe are
Mm.
something without which life would be not what it is today.
Great. That was interesting. So I thought collection of poems, I thought, generally poems are like, each poem talks about some particular concept, but I think you have made it a story kind of a thing.
Yes.
So that's what, made it more interesting to know now. And what are the elements you're talking about? You mean,
Elements like, okay, let me ask you, what is it that you really cherish something in your life, something which is around you, which you feel if it would not have been that, what would I do?
hmm,
Anything. What do you think?
I mean, this beautiful air or breeze, climate.
Yes. So, similar elements like I have mentioned water, I have
Okay.
mentioned dance, I have
Okay.
mentioned words, I have written a poem on words, I have written
Okay.
a poem on family because again it is very
Hmm.
important. And
Yes.
one thing that again I have been, introduced to very young, at a very young age, and I don't think my life can exist without it is music.
Hmm.
Okay,
True.
so again that is also one element which I feel we can't live without.
Yeah.
And one thing which I believe is very important for us to make
Hmm.
for ourselves, that element which exists but we
Hmm.
keep on finding that as happiness. Yeah.
Good.
So even that is an element. And I have given one very important place to women as well, because I
Okay.
believe this entire life without a woman, we cannot imagine a life, right? Because next to the God, we are the ones who are the creators.
Yes. That's
So
beautiful. That's beautiful. And the elements are very well explained. Anything that is around us that makes happy is an element in a
yes,
way, you consider it that way.
yeah. Thank you,
Superb.
Sushma
So
ji. Sushma ji is mentioning something. Thank you, Sushma ji.
yeah, superb. That's a very beautiful thought. Okay, so the book can be categorized into two sections. One, like, yeah, that's what I think you've covered it, right? Which style of poetry has been used here? I mean, we most of us doesn't know the styles in poetry, but
Okay.
if you would explain us a little more, so we probably get
Uh, no,
the point.
see, I have mainly, like how we mentioned that there is a stanza, right? In poems, we have
Mm,
stanzas. So the
yeah.
poems may have two lines. So when we are using a poem with writing poem with two lines, that is couplet. If we are
Mm,
using a three lines, it is tercet. So same way, it works like 4 line poem, 5 line stanza, 6 line stanza.
mm,
And I have mostly used quatrain, that's the 4 line, as well
okay.
as a cinquain, which is a 5 line. So for the element one, I have used cinquain. And
Mm,
there is one more element that I have used is acrostic. So acrostic is again a part of my poem. And
okay.
acrostic means, like, I don't know how many of them would be knowing it. So
Mm,
acrostic is something, when there is a word, like say for time,
mm,
and you write 4 lines starting from each of those letters. So T, then I,
okay.
then M, then E. So
Okay.
that has been part of my poem for the
Mm,
last stanza. So last
okay.
stanzas have been acrostic for the element poems. So I have used different elements because when I write, very
Mm,
honestly, when I write, I really don't think about how it should be in a particular way. I let the
mm.
thought come and just write it. So at the end, whatever it comes, it's okay.
That's beautiful. As it is, poems are very interesting. Just the four lines speak a lot of it
Yes.
actually. So that's we hardly see people publishing the poems as book, but I think you are an inspiration for those of you who just just like that. There are a good number of people who actually write poems and who actually cherish writing them, but never thought of it this way. To put it as a book or to just take it forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, uh, you know she is an inspiration to be considered when it comes to writing poems and publishing it as a book, so you can
And
study this.
Swarna very rightly
Mm,
said, I believe when we read poems, see, there is
mm,
different things, when you are reading a book, like for
yeah,
me, if I start a book, I have to just finish it because otherwise, I
mm,
get curious, like, okay, what's going to be,
yeah,
how it's going to end. And then I just need to know the story. So somebody who
yes,
is really ferocious reader, they would want to complete it very quickly, and it requires time, of course.
Hmm.
And especially now when we are so much into all the things, everything is
Yeah,
there, fast life, it's really not possible to sit and complete a book at one go. But
exactly.
when it comes to poem, I have always cherished reading poems, small poems, big poems, one poem at a time, and it's
Mm.
just, it gives that peace and it gives that happiness. So for
Okay,
me, yes, poem is very important again.
true, true. It's English, right? The language is English,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Perfect. So we would like you to recite one of your favorite poems here.
Okay. So okay, so this is how the book looks like. I think it was also there in the cover,
Yes.
the poster, but I'll not be reading the entire poem because I don't know how many of them would be patient enough to listen. But yes, part of it, especially of one of my favorite poems of this book, which is about death. Okay, when we are nearing towards the end. So that poem
Okay.
titled is Towards the End.
Okay.
Living till we live, dying only after death. One who can do is surely blessed. Life has no warranty, death has no guarantee. Touching death and living again, living life like death in pain. Life has chapters old and new. Some are short, some are long. Boring or interesting, we are ones to decide. Living till death or living whole life. Death shall spare no one for sure. Treasure your life. Death will bring end to our soul. Measure your life. Fear not, for death is a comma between life lived and life yet to be lived.
Wow. Superb. So
Thank
that's the reason why poems, just one poem will totally, have that varied meaning in it.
Yes.
That was awesome, beautiful. I just loved it.
And if you realize, I have not used any such
Any
vocabulary which for which people need to refer to a dictionary. Uh,
exactly.
though I love reading such books as well, but I
Mm.
understand that not everyone would love to read such, uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
elements.
especially when it comes to poems, it is always better to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, we see generally, when I go through my kids' books, I hardly, it is difficult to understand what is in there.
Exactly.
But rather simple language is always more
In
attractive.
fact, Swarna, my book,
Mm.
my daughter read. Okay, once
Mm.
I received the hard copy, my daughter read it, and she
Okay.
read it in one go. Okay.
Awesome.
She's
Super.
8 years old, so you can understand. Of course, she didn't understand few elements which were
Yeah.
mentioned,
Yeah.
but whatever she could, she was able to actually understand it, and that was my whole intention.
That was a victory in a way.
Yeah.
That yeah. So when everybody can enjoy it, irrespective of their age and irrespective of their language skill. So
Yes.
what can be more greater than that? Superb. That's a beautiful one. Is this book available on Amazon, Ritwika?
Yes, yes. This book is available on Amazon. In fact,
Mm.
I would suggest rather than searching for Life, a Beautiful Journey, because from Life you get a lot of options. If
Yeah.
they type in my name, they would get only that book because that's not a common name, and like that book will come first. Then,
Okay. Thank you, Vanajakshi Joshi. She's sending
hi,
her good
Vanajakshi.
wishes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so your poems talk about all the different phases of life, like, from being born till we die. So, where did you get inspiration from, for the stages you have not even experienced as such now?
Yeah, even the moment you mentioned this question, I'm getting the goosebumps. Uh,
Okay.
I have when I took this challenge to write 20 poems in 20 days. Of course, we had
Mhm.
enough time
Mhm.
beforehand to prepare for what we wanted to write, and the time we were having in hand. Um, I was going through. There was two topics mainly, fighting in my head. One,
Mhm.
which is very close to me, was about women empowerment. And when I talk about women empowerment, I really don't believe that women need to be empowered at any cost because we are way too forward. The problem is in the society when people cannot accept that a woman has her own voice. So I
Mm.
wanted to talk about that. But then, knowing how cliched it may sound, but knowing how the society is, I know nobody would be reading that. Nobody would be interested in reading that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
There would be only the few feminists. And when I talk about feminists, it's not necessarily female, even the
Yeah.
gents, the
Yeah.
male counterparts, even those who believe in that, they will only be interested. Rest,
Mm.
they will be like, okay, it's just word, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
And when I thought about the other thing, that's life. So I have not been close to death, yes, but I have seen the closed ones depart. Okay. I lost both my mom and my dad. So I lost my mom when I was quite young. I was in my first year of college. And I lost my dad recently in last year,
Mm.
December 2020. So I I feel those emotions. I have seen
Mm.
two deaths in my family wherein one was sudden
Mm.
and one was with ailment. I've
Okay.
seen what goes beyond behind that, and
Mm.
plus when we talk about the different emotions, I have been fortunate to be part of different culture,
Mm.
and I have worked and stayed in different part of the country. So I belong from I've been born and brought up in Chhattisgarh. That's Bhilai.
Mm. Mm.
I have I have studied, like I did my graduation and post graduation in Indore, that's Madhya Pradesh. I
Mm.
worked in places like Jaipur, Udaipur, Nagpur,
Okay.
Satna, and I don't know, I'm missing one or two places for this. And then I got married to a person from Bihar. So my
Okay.
whole world is like I have traveled the whole world in the sense whole country, and our country is really diverse.
Mm.
But there are certain things that remain constant everywhere, especially when I talked about in my poem, in one poem I've talked about working woes, like when we are
Mm.
working, what are the different kind of struggles that we have, and
Okay.
marriage madness, which talks about how different people take marriage, you know
Okay.
what are the
Hey,
different.
you have yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can recite a bit on this marriage madness, if the title is interesting, I
Okay,
want to hear a few lines of that.
okay, so yeah, I'll say, mm, okay, see, there are different things that I mentioned. Okay, so it's
Mm-hmm.
in marriage, it's a long poem, because in marriage I've talked about people who want to
Mm.
get married, who are really happily in love and want to get married. I've talked about
Okay.
people who really don't want to get married. I've talked about people who are into marriage, but they would like to have late marriage. So it's like
Okay.
different part of it. Okay, so one of
Okay.
this is, I want to get married, but not anytime soon. I know
Mm.
I'm nearing my 40s. I'm not dying. I wish to travel solo around the world and reach to a position before I stop trying. Marriage will happen as and when I find my Mr. Right. It can happen 10 years down the line or maybe just tonight. Yeah. So that's how crazy it is. And then married for kids, because in our country, as soon as you marry, the next question is, okay, when are you giving the good
And
news?
yeah.
And I have seen people experiencing it in front of me. I have always been close observer of people around me,
Yeah.
and you might laugh at it, but me and my mom, when we used to stay alone for some time, because my sisters were in hostel, my dad was working at different place. Thank you, Mona. Thank you, Divya. So when my dad was at different place, me and my mom used to go and sit at the railway station. Okay.
Okay.
And because we two used to get bored with each other, what to do a whole day looking at each other, nobody else in the whole house. Because every time we were like five members, then from five to two, it's really boring. It can get really dull. So we used to
Mm.
go to station at times. We would just sit there,
Mm.
take the platform ticket, just sit there, and we could observe the different kind of people, the different conversations going around, and just enjoy. So I have really seen those emotions, and I've seen my friends going through a lot. Some experiences, very honestly.
Okay.
On a serious note, I have mentioned in the beginning of the, like,
Mm.
when the child is not born, or when a child is born, how they're treated. So
Mm.
these are the things I could never have even thought of writing some 10 years back.
Yeah.
Like, but ever since I came out of the college life, I
Mm.
saw the world. I realized how difficult it had been for so many, not only
Mm.
girls but even for boys. How difficult
Yes.
it has been. The childhood has been a trauma for many of them.
Yeah.
And for me, I could not even imagine childhood being a trauma. For me,
Mm.
childhood was blessing. It was the best
Mm.
time of my life. And when people used to talk about it, I could not even connect to them initially. But
Yeah.
slowly, when we got into this NLP training aspects, and then we realized,
Mm.
when we started understanding human mindset, it became easy. And when you
Okay.
step in that shoe, you
Mm.
you cannot even imagine how tough life can be. And here we sitting at our comfortable home, under
Yeah.
in comfortable four walls. I
Yes.
don't even need a 3 BHK or 2 BHK. Even if you have one room, you can live happily. But yes, of course, that doesn't mean you don't dream.
Yeah.
You have to work and you have to achieve that. Maybe a bungalow, why only a 2 BHK,
Mm.
3 BHK? You should aim for a bungalow and you should make one. But
Yes.
you should not stop helping out others as well, and not forget
Exactly.
what others are going through in the life. So that is what, the whole emotions and feelings behind this book.
Yes, it is very well said. One has to, however big he grows as a person, in terms of money or in terms of status or in terms of position. So it is always good to be grounded, and it is always good to be empathetic. So that's what makes a real human a human.
Yes.
So, awesome. So that's beautiful. Great. So, which element of the 10 mentioned in your life do you cherish or value the most, and why?
Well, there are actually few of them that I really cherish. One is, of course, music. Like I mentioned, I have always been surrounded by music.
Okay.
And another is very important, which is water. Okay. And the funny reason behind that, because from the place where I come from, we didn't have any issues with water. Water was in abundance. But
So,
when I
which place
moved,
is that? Which place is that?
I belong from Chhattisgarh, Bhilai. So we
Oh,
had the 24 hours water supply. It was a plant city. And
okay.
then my parents belong from Kerala and Assam. Again, both the places have very
Yes,
fertile soil and
plenty.
everything is good. But when I moved to Indore during my college days, I
Hmm.
realized, God, you have to fight for water. I've never seen people fighting for water. I have never seen people losing their life for water. And, that's what I came to know, that it does happen. That's a reality. That's
Yeah,
India. That's the beauty of our country. There are
true.
amazing diversity, you would see, not only in terms of people but even the situation.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of our country, actually. So that, of
Hmm.
course, became one of the things. And of course, very important, like I mentioned, is happiness. Because
Hmm.
the entire thing, whatever we do, whether we are doing something for our kids, whether we are doing something for our parents, whether we are doing something for our own self, everything comes down to that one thing, that's happiness. So
Exactly.
that's one of the most important element from me, I guess.
Yes. Beautiful. That's happiness is the most important. Whatever you do in life, ultimately, we do it for happiness only. But that's the least expressed by all the most of the people these days. For some reason or the other, they're always in search of something. They're always in lack of
Yes.
something. They always focus on the other side of it, the other side of
Right.
happiness. They are never look into that angle of what they have. In fact, how blessed are they having what they have.
Exactly.
Hmm. So that's the key, So, ladies and gentlemen, on this that was beautifully shared. Thank you so much, Ritwika. I so enjoyed. In fact, I just love the poems you have recited us today. So I just fall in love with it. So
Thank you
before
so
we
much.
close this, I just don't want keep on listening to those poems, but then. Yeah, we have to end it at some point. So before I close it, I want you to give us a beautiful poem on women empowerment. A few
Okay.
lines.
So women, I have mentioned as an element. Again, it's not, but I'll say few lines. Okay. Women, burden for unfortunates, a matter of disgrace, unsafe and harmed, cannot show face. Women, thoughts are chained, voice shut down, freedom snatched, pushed back and down. Woman, chained yet free, muted yet opinionated, caged yet fly, pushed still rise high.
Superb. Great.
Thank you.
That's a great inspiration for a lot of us here. Um, Great to have you on the show tonight, Ritwika. This was a superb session. You know, a lot of positive comments pouring in as well. Thank you, Vanajakshi, Krishna, Narayan. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you,
great
Piyush. Thank
work.
you, Krishna. Thank you, Vanajakshi. Thank you, Monaji.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, guys. That's a beautiful session today. I just loved everything what has been shared by Ritvika today. Thank you so much, Ritvika, for such valuable inputs. And we appreciate you taking our time to share your experiences and knowledge with our lovely audience here tonight. So, I absolutely loved all your beautiful collection of poems. So, I'm sure everybody are going to definitely buy this book very soon and start reading and enjoying the poems. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us today. And I'm sure you all must have enjoyed the session. By looking at the comments, I definitely feel so. And thank you all in the room and for watching us live. Take care. Bye bye. See you all next week with yet another great book and a beautiful author. Thank you.